from San Diego, California, this is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans, by the fans. With Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski, we're talking Chargers, Padres, and Aztec sports. It's time to let your voice be heard. Hello and welcome to San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans,
by the fans.
And we are back. We have a loaded show, and that
jam-packed.
That may be an understatement. A lot of moves being made on the Padre front and the Charger front.
Sir.
From Danny Woodhead to Larry English, Chargers training camp. Mikey wrote a great article. SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. Go to our blog, check out the article. Basically talking about what to watch for as far as the Chargers training camp and the storylines. Obviously there's been a couple trades in the Padres with Chase Headley, Houston Street. We're going to break those down. Cam Maben decides to use some amphetamines and get suspended 25 games. We're going to break down some of the AFC West and your questions. Guys, as always, go in the chat room. Ask us questions. Interact. This is a show for fans.
By the fans.
And it's all about you. With your interactions, it just makes everything that much better. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking Danny Woodhead and the San Diego Chargers.
What's up, you sports freaks of the West Coast? This is your fantasy corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. I'm your host, Steve-O, and I want to challenge you to win your fantasy football season this year. So tune in weekly, starting in August, for some preseason sleepers, draft day steals and busts, some new draft value on the usual suspects, and my personal mock draft strategy that's going to carry you through your season and leave your buddies crying in that draft room. So please, don't miss your chance to tune in weekly and add some of your fantasy football smack talk to your corner of SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com/fantasy. Get some.
You can't get me down. There's nothing like a clear peace of mind to overcome the hardships in life. Just sort out the wrong from the right. Someone's in line, but they can't get me down. I got my own self by my side.
Do you need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects. SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
Ladies come, ladies go, I'm a revolving door. Some ladies never come back, most come back for more. I got a house in the hills with a door that spins, goes in and out and in, round and round again. I live a life these player haters would love to be living. Since a kid I've been surrounded by beautiful women and slipping in them to win them the unforgiven. Still something's missing.
What's up, Bolts fans? We are back, and I don't know about you guys, but I am jacked.
Jacked up.
Football season's right
Jacked
around the corner.
up, dog.
Yes. I'm tired of the Padres.
Tired of them.
They're doing
Come on.
absolutely nothing.
What do you mean you're tired of them?
They're winning
I'm
by two right
They're winning
now.
by 2 with bases loaded for that other team.
I'm ready for football.
Me too.
I'm ready for football.
Bolt up, bitch.
You know what I just thought about is Darren's not in the chat room right now. He's probably watching the game.
Yeah, he
he's-
said he wasn't going to be. He wasn't going to be listening live.
He's not
today.
making snood remarks this
Right.
evening.
And I'm surprised. I thought you would have no problem going in the chat room and talking how they just waxed us 6-0 yesterday.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, he can
anyways,
gloat. He can gloat.
yeah,
So
sorry.
let's dive into some Chargers news.
Let's do it.
Danny Woodhead signs a 2-year extension. Ecstatic. What's your guys' feeling about the signing?
I'm surprised, actually. I'm very happy. I was not expecting that at all. I thought that they They had drafted Grice, remember? And I kind of thought that they were maybe thinking he was going to kind of replace Woodhead, down the road. I'm very happy. I thought, last week before the show, Justin and I, we put the stats side by side with him and Darren Sproles. I hate it when they call him Darren Sproles replacement or the new Darren Sproles.
Right.
He outperformed Darren Sproles in just about every single category.
Yep.
I really like what he did with the team last year. I really like what he brings to the offense when they use him right.
Right.
In that playoff game, they didn't use him right. They kind of tried to make him an every down back because that's all they had.
Yeah.
And, and
with Matthews being injured.
Yeah, right. With the nice.
Struck him out.
Oh,
Sorry.
well,
Never mind.
Suck it, Rizzo.
Yeah, suck it, Rizzo.
Suck it, Rizzo.
Yeah,
Rizzo.
As you know, we're San Diego Sports Junkies, so we're watching the Padres game while we're doing the show.
That.
So we
back
apologize,
to bolts. Back to bolts.
So I was really happy. I was actually surprised, but I'm very happy that they brought him on. What do you guys think?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm very surprised as well. It's funny because you guys saw the article I posted yesterday, and I had written it a couple of days ago, and I hadn't finished it, and I hadn't taken that into account that he was going to get re-signed. And having him now re-signed kind of makes me think, that's the future is him and Donald Brown. And,
yes.
And I don't know. I guess that might spell out the end of Ryan Matthews' tenure here.
Dude, that's what I was thinking, man. What's the writing on the wall here? I mean, you got four backs now. I think four backs that we all genuinely like. I mean, we haven't seen Marion Grice play it down yet.
Right.
It's kind of tough to say that, but judging what he did in college, goal line type of back, he probably will fit in nicely with this team. I think the writing's on the wall. If Ryan Matthews in a contract season doesn't perform well in a contract season, he might be out the door, and Woodhead would be a staple along with Donald Brown.
I don't think that it's just if he doesn't perform well. I think that the Chargers are actually setting themselves up in case if Ryan Matthews has a fantastic year.
Right.
And the problem is there will be a team out there, especially if he just has another year like he had last year, there will be a team that will overpay for him. And I think the Chargers are trying to make sure they're not left with their balls in their hand like they've been in the past where they have nothing.
Right.
Now they have a little bit more leverage. They can say, look, this is what we're going to offer you. This is fair. This is what we want. We want you to come back. I want him to come back, that's for sure. But if somebody's going to go over and overpay you, then there's nothing we can do. At least we have these other backs to fall back on.
Yeah, let's break down Danny Woodhead's season last year. He had 76 catches, which was second on the team, along with 605 receiving yards. Both were second in the NFL for running backs. In addition, he had 6 receiving touchdowns, which was first in the NFL for receiving touchdowns by a running back, and 429 rushing yards for a total of 1,049 yards from scrimmage and 2 rushing touchdowns. 1,000 yards, I mean, from a guy who isn't the featured back is pretty impressive.
Absolutely. Not only that, but one thing that you can look at stats and you can read a lot of stats. One thing that it doesn't tell you is situationally how many big plays, especially towards the end of the year when we really got rolling, how many times did he make that big third down catch?
Yes.
That big, on 3rd and 8, you throw the little swing pass to him and he gets you 8.5 yards.
Yes.
And,
didn't it make you more excited? I mean, a la Darren Sproles, how much we have missed him. I know he was pricey, but matched up on a linebacker and a swing route.
Right.
Gosh darn, it's going to put it over the top. Phillips going to put it on the money, and that's a 20 to 30 yard breakaway because nobody can match up with Danny Woodhead. So I like the signing, like you guys said, out of left field for sure.
You like him because you look like him. We all know that.
I've heard that. I mean, I wish I had his pocketbook, right? But I wish I was his brother even. But yeah, no, I do look a little bit like him, I guess, if I grow the hair out, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
And back to what you were saying, Jason, Danny Woodhead has great football instincts.
Yes.
He knows where the yard marker is. There's been so many times last year where he catches that ball and he dives down at the defender's feet because he knows that's all he needs to get a first down. Why try to stretch it, do something stupid, get the ball pulled, fumble? Because he's not a big guy. Let's be real.
No.
And the times that there was times last year that he tried to get that extra yard, he get the ball stripped from him. I think one time against the Raiders.
That's the only thing that I was concerned with is I want to see him hold on to the ball a little bit better. That's my only concern at all with him.
And I think he was put in a situation that when Ryan Matthews was hurt, he had to try to carry that load.
Yeah.
He had to try to be that bruiser, and he's not that bruiser.
Right.
So with a healthy Matthews, with a Donald Brown.
Right.
Okay, we got Marion Rice or Grice.
Yeah.
Grice.
Apologies.
It's all right.
Sidney Rice's brother.
That's sitting in the back, kind of learning from these guys. What a great opportunity that he has to learn from Woodhead.
Oh, yeah.
From Ryan Matthews, from Donald Brown. He has a great opportunity to learn from these guys that have been in the league a few years, especially Woodhead, with the football instincts like we were saying. That kid needs to soak everything up. He needs to be a little bee in, Woodhead's ear, asking him a million questions and,
learn everything
refining and making himself a better NFL player.
Of course.
So with the season that Woodhead had last year, what are your expectations for Woodhead this season?
I think just him having a repeat of last year would be fantastic. I mean, 76 catches, it's hard for running back to go past that. I mean, you're talking, some receivers don't get 76 catches a year. So if he can just repeat what he did last year he exceeded all expectations. And to ask him to do more than that, I think would be...
Your expectations are right on point, but I don't see him doing the same thing he did last year, because last year he had to pick up some slack for Ryan Matthews at certain times. And now you add a Donald Brown and a Marion Grice, who they are high on. They hope this kid can play. This is a running back by committee type of football team this year, and everything you read and hear from the experts, the Kevin Aces of the world, Mr. Mikey, you hear that it's going to be a running back by committee, and that's the way the NFL right now. And you sprinkle him in on third downs, this offense is going to be so potent this year. And I don't even get me started on Ladarius Green right now, but just the options Phillips going to have this season along with Danny Wood, it's going to be crazy.
I comparing him last year's stats to what he's going to do this year, I would love to see a repeat or something close in the receptions. But like you said, I'd actually like to see his rushes cut in half.
Me too. You're going to get him hurt.
And his yards per carry is going to go up, because he's going to be more of the surprise type rushes instead of the bruising, let me get 3 yards, let me get 2 yards.
Right.
And I want to see his average higher and his rushes lower.
Yeah, the Raider hater chimed in and said he can block as well. He's a great third down pass protector. So
absolutely.
Great point. He does everything, every facet of the game.
He does it right. He does it right. And I think the one thing that you may see him duplicate, and he may even improve, because he might not have the focus, assuming Ryan Matthews is going to be healthy, knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on some wood.
Is the 8 touchdowns. He's going to be a weapon when we get into that red zone.
Right.
So that's one statistic I'd like to see him duplicate.
Yep.
I agree with you guys. I think the catches will be down. The yards will be down. Knock on wood, because Matthews is healthy and Matthews is being the beast that he was in the second half of last year. Let's move on a little bit. Larry English gets released. In addition, they bring up Adrian Hamilton, who joins the Bolts from the Ravens. Larry English, it's pretty safe to say that he's a bust.
Right. We've officially gotten rid of A.J. Smith. No?
Good point.
That's not funny?
The thing is...
Come on, guys. A little laughter. Anybody? Fucking crickets over here. Fucking crickets.
The thing that...
Come on, right? That was a first round pick.
I think we have some fancy. We have some sound bites in this.
AJ
Smith. Look for some.
AJ Smith is gone, guys. Don't you realize what we're doing here? Rejoice in the streets naked. This is great. This is awesome.
Frank the Tank.
I'm a little bit bummed, and I actually think that he's going to get picked. I like the fact that the Chargers released him early, so he has a chance to go catch on with somebody else. I think that he's going to I think he's got some talent. I don't think he's going to be that 12, 15 sack a year guy or anything like that, but I think he can still fit in. I just think that, unfortunately for him, early when he had a chance to make the team, he was injured, and now we have a logjam at that position. They don't have enough time to give him another chance.
Yeah, he's definitely a bust. I mean, there's just no way around it, and he's just a symbol of A.J. Smith's arrogance. Finding a guy that nobody had heard of, taking him in the first round and thinking, I can make this guy a superstar.
Right.
And that's what he, I remember sitting there, I think I was hoping for Ray Maliuga from USC, who went to the Bengals a couple picks later, and I was just like, I remember I was at a golf course watching the draft, and you hear Larry English, and I'm like, fuck is that?
Right?
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's kind of how Justin reacted when we drafted Jason Verrett.
Oh, stop, guys. All right, I've come to...
And let's do the playback on that real quick. Yeah.
I'm not speaking.
So, a couple other moves the Chargers made. Adrian Hamilton, I don't know where he fits, to be honest. He's 2 years into his NFL career. The first year was mediocre. He came, it was practice squad basically, came in, played a couple games for the Ravens.
Okay.
Then last year he missed all the season with a wrist injury. Couple tidbits in his collegiate career. He broke Robert Mathis's Southwestern Atlantic Conference record of 20.5 sacks. He also had 34.5 tackles for a loss over 2 seasons. So I can see why the Ravens were interested in bringing him on. My question is, was he not getting the opportunities he needed to be successful in Baltimore, or does his talents not translate to the NFL?
Well, I see here that also he's from Prairie View A&M. That means amateurs and midgets. So who is this guy again? He's off the scrap heap. Didn't get a lot of time to play in Baltimore. Bring in another body, see what he can do. I mean, obviously he didn't get a lot of opportunity in Baltimore. They're loaded on defense, so you bring a guy in here for an extra body and competition-wise.
Yeah, and who knows? This is a no-lose situation for the Bolts because we bring him in. If he does something outstanding, then he makes his team. If he doesn't,
right.
They got 90 spots.
Exactly.
I'm surprised that he would want to come to a team that's so loaded at outside linebacker.
And he had his
right
choice,
now.
I'm sure.
But maybe nobody else wanted to give him a chance. So, maybe the Chargers saw something in him, and they thought maybe practice squad. Who knows?
Was that a precursor to Larry English, or was that a precursor to Jonas Mouton failing his physical and being waived?
Well, it's funny. Jonas Mouton, nobody really knows much about him because he was a second-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Second-round picks are pretty important in the NFL, and I don't know if
he was also selected by A.J. Smith.
Yeah, another
guy. He has a case of the vagina-itis. Yeah, another one of A.J.'s awesome picks.
Do you know how much Jonas Mouton saw the field as a Charger?
He probably played in 2 games.
You're close.
3?
3 games.
Sweet.
5 total snaps.
That's good.
He injured himself on the first day of training camp last year.
Yeah.
So he's cut from the same mold as Larry English.
Well,
maybe they're cousins.
I heard such good things. You hear good things about a lot of guys that get drafted.
Sure, I've heard good things about Jason.
Was a liar. Nobody says good things about me.
That's awesome.
I've heard good things. I was always excited every year to see what this guy could do. Kind of like I lost the guy's name right now, that cornerback that we lost all last year.
Derek Cox?
No.
Oh, no, he was just lost.
The guy that went on IR that we drafted last year.
Sorry, the corner. You're talking about Steve Williams.
Thank you, Steve Williams.
Okay.
Same kind of thing where we've all heard things about him.
Good
We're
things.
all looking for things out of him, but he's just been injured,
Right.
This year is his chance. Jonas Mouton was in that same position, and he got hurt again. So maybe somebody will pick him up. I don't. He's done nothing so far to prove why that he belongs in the NFL, but he might get a shot.
Your resume is really strong. I mean, 3 games, 5 plays. Please sign me.
6 injuries.
Please, guys.
I'm cheap.
Please. I mean, come on. That's a great resume.
I think it's funny though. You say that you heard good things. When do we hear bad things about a guy?
That's
when does the coaching staff go? You know
Yeah.
what? That guy is so fucking out of shape. I don't know why the fuck we drafted that guy.
Yeah.
No, there's always optimism and hope, and I really want to know what people really think about him.
Great
which
point.
I'm sure only within the NFL circles do they know what's really up with this guy.
Right. I understand. One more move the Chargers made actually today, right? Is placing Jeremy Clary on the PUP list.
Where's the little thing where it goes, woo?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do it. We'll do our
It's
own.
over here somewhere.
Yeah.
Jason has those in the circuit board over there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hit the button, bro.
So, I mean, I guess that answers some of our questions. I mean, we've been wondering where the hell is Jeremy Clary since, 3 months ago when we
Right.
started talking about what's going to happen with this guy.
Right.
But what does that mean? Does that mean anything from a financial standpoint? By him being on the PUP list?
All it means is he's not ready yet. That's all it means.
He won't be
not
ready.
He won't be ready. I was interesting. I was talking to a guy on Twitter today. We were kind of going talking back and forth, and I asked him if he thinks that not Larry English. If Jeremy Clary sees one snap with the Bolts this year, and he thinks yes. I was wondering what you guys thought. Do you think that he's done as a Charger? I mean, you think he comes back and they're going to release him? Or do you think that he will get on the field or play a snap?
My thing is, if he can get back in time
Not if. I want to say, what do you think is going to happen?
Okay, again, with the injury, okay, here we go. If he's back by week 2 of the preseason, I think he stays on the team.
Which he won't be.
Okay, then I don't see him here then, because you have a guy behind him that they're really high on in Chris Watt, and maybe the guy can play, and we'll see. And if he can't, maybe Jerry Clary sticks around.
So you're saying
I say he's
Clary,
gone.
no snaps with the Bolts this year. He's done.
I don't think so.
Okay. What do you think, Mike?
I think yes. I mean, and a little bit referring to my article before I found out that he was on the PUP, I thought he was going to start. Maybe he doesn't start, but I think you have till a certain time.
That's what I was wondering. What's the
I
time
think
frame?
It's 2 weeks. You have the first 2 weeks. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe
Of the regular season?
Of the regular season. If not, then they have
decide.
to miss the first 6.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he can, like you said, if he can be healthy.
Yeah,
that's
hard. It's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
If, but
yeah. But if he is healthy, then I think he just automatically gets slotted back in there because he has the experience. Unless Chris Watt does something amazing and is like super solid, and he just shows that he earned that position, I think Clary just gets it back.
We need the depth on our offensive line. We saw, as much as everybody bangs on him, there was a huge drop off when we lost him for that playoff game. We all saw it. It was a different team, and right. I know that part of the problem was Ryan Matthews wasn't there, but it wasn't just Ryan Matthews not being there. Jeremy Clary was missed during the playoffs, and not very many people thought we would be able to hear that or say that.
Guys, we're going to break down some Chargers training camp storylines. We're going to take a quick break before we do that. So if you have any questions about Chargers training camp, any storylines that you want to bring up in the conversation, hit us up in the chat room. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with you in just a couple minutes. Are you looking for a bar for your next sporting event? Come to Cali Comfort Sports Bar in the heart of Spring Valley, where they are passionate about sticking to the true barbecue traditions. Using their unique low and slow method, you are guaranteed great barbecue no matter what you order. From pulled pork to tri-tip, football to MMA, Cali Comfort is your one-stop shop for all your sports and barbecue needs. Find them online, CaliComfortSD.com.
Do you need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
Bolts falling from the sky. If you're not careful, you might fry. That's no lie. Be easy, homie. Stay up. Antonio Gates hitting TDs like layups, causing chaos. Better keep him in reach. You got a body like a beast and hands like a thief.
All right, Bolts fans, we are back, and it's time to talk some training camp. Training camp opens tomorrow. Yeah. I want to say it's at 9 a.m. is when the first training camp is open to the public. Couple storylines that we want to break down, and we'll start with Mikey's article. I'm going to go off of that, SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com, go to our blog. He has a great article about what some of the storylines and expectations of training camp. We're going to break some of those down, starting with, will Keenan Allen continue to be the number one receiver with Malcolm Floyd back?
All right, if you look at the article, I didn't really answer many of the questions, but my big concern is, will Keenan Allen be the number one receiver? He kind of was thrust into that role, guys. He did really well in that role. Mm-hmm. But we know that Phil Rivers has a great rapport with Malcolm Floyd because they've been teammates for so long. I personally think Keenan Allen still stays the number one target. He's, a very sure-handed receiver. So, I think he will.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think.
Well, for me, my opinion, I don't see his role changing. I think he's the number one guy. Malcolm Floyd being healthy is key. He's a big target for Phillip. He loves going to Malcolm. He's got that rapport. I think his workload is cut down a little bit this year with the emergence of a Ladarius Green lining up in a slot type. Because you got to understand, when you're adding a guy that's 6'7", a mismatch nightmare. You saw what he did in Kansas City last year when he broke away from the secondary, and he runs like a gazelle. I mean, you have matchups here with the Chargers. They have a lot of options this season. You can roll Danny Woodhead out in the slot. I think, for me, Eddie Royal's going to have another huge year, a big year like he did last year. Remember that stretch? He had like 5 touchdowns at the beginning of the season. I think his role increases. We'll have to see what happens with Vincent Brown. There's a lot of question marks, but I see him as the number 1 wide. But I think the ball is going to be spread around a lot more this season.
You know, I actually see him as a number 1 wide receiver, and I think that's great news for Malcolm Floyd because Malcolm Floyd in his career has always been – he always has flourished as the number 2 option.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to him going back to that. You know, one thing I do notice is it looks like Justin is developing himself a new boyfriend, and his name is Ladarius Green.
I do like the kid.
He does talk a lot about him, but what's not to like? You know, he's he really
he stands
really
out.
showed up big a few games last year, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more out of him. But I do see Keenan Allen being the number 1 guy this year, and I am interested to see Vincent Brown if he's the odd man out actually.
Vincent Brown, I mean, I hope he's not. Obviously he comes from San Diego State, so
Aztecs for life.
You definitely want to see him succeed, and he has shown that he has all the tools to succeed. I think he was kind of pressured last year to be that guy because Malcolm Floyd was down. We lost Honorio Alexander, so who do they turn to? Who's got the most experience? Well, they turn to. Just lost his name.
Eddie
Royal.
No.
Keenan Allen.
No.
What are you talking about?
Brown.
He's talking about Vincent Brown.
Okay. Vincent Brown. Sorry. Thanks. Oh. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Right.
Yeah. You lost us too.
So now with Malcolm Floyd back, you got Keenan Allen. Vincent Brown can play that role type receiver. And I think you're going to see him succeed again.
Right.
At least I hope.
I hope you're right because I actually like him a lot, too.
Of course.
I was very disappointed with him last year. He just absolutely disappeared.
He looked lost at times.
Yeah. And
almost like Robert Meacham-esque.
Yes,
a little
exactly.
bit like that.
That's a good comparison. We were all expecting huge things out of him. Yeah. And then he had the ankle injury, because I still blame Touchdown Jesus for throwing that that past him, that touchdown pass in the preseason that got him killed. And then he just never really found his groove when he came back. I actually had read a couple articles, and they talked about how hard that he works, and it's, of course I'm not there. I don't see any of it. I'm just going by what people say. But it's not from lack of effort. He just wasn't getting the results last year,
well, maybe we didn't know something as well. Maybe Phillip Rivers didn't feel comfortable giving him the ball in game situations.
Right.
Maybe they had good practices, and you didn't hear anything negative.
Right.
Just when it came to a game, he did go MIA.
Right.
So maybe that had something to do with it, behind the curtains type thing.
It just seemed like when Robert Meacham was here, a lot of the passes that Phillip Rivers was getting intercepted were balls that were meant for Meacham.
Right.
And then it started to seem like that a little bit last year. It seemed like when he did throw the interception, it seemed like it was a ball that was to Vincent Brown.
Yes.
Now, whether or not that was a bad pass by him or they were miscommunicating or he just wasn't fighting for the ball because
it didn't look like a lot of effort was going on.
Yeah, you need your receivers to fight for that ball,
right.
And if you're not going to catch it, at least knock that thing down.
Of course.
So, Mike, we got a question actually in the Twitter sphere from at Geppetto. He wants to know who plays right tackle. Who plays right tackle if Clary gets cut, and how is our depth at right tackle specifically?
Yeah, well, I saw that, and I went to look it up. And, right tackle, I'm thinking you still have DJ Fluker, and you still have left tackle, Keen Dunlap.
He must have meant right guard.
But right guard, it's really thin.
Well, you got to see how Chris Watt plays, too. I mean, he can move over. He's played center. He's multiple positions.
It's thin. You got Chad Reinhardt, DJ Johnson.
Ornberger still around?
Ornberger?
They got Ornberger at center guard.
Right.
Yeah.
But those guys can slide.
Yeah.
They proved it last year.
The problem is we saw Troutman play a lot of left guard last year, and he had limited success, but he looked...
He was sketchy at left.
He was okay, but when he went to right in the playoffs, it was ugly.
Right.
It was very ugly. I don't know if that was a one-game thing. I don't know if that was what the reason was, but he looked completely out of place, and he looked like a turnstile out there, and it just did not work out.
I'm glad you guys bring up Ornberger. He might be the guy that they depend on early.
For right guard.
For right guard. I mean, that's a good name
He
out there.
played solid center last year, that's for sure.
And like you said, those guys can slide around. And I know that, like I said, I've heard for a long time, and I know I just said the opposite myself, but I've heard really great things about him. And, I mean, you could tell by the way they re-signed him this offseason that they're very high on him. So
is a possibility we could see Watt there as well, or do you think he plays more on the left guard?
That's just me, a personal thing. Again, it's
you gotta
very
see how he handles.
Yeah, you got to see how he handles it. It's very rare to get a rookie. I mean, yes, you're gonna say DJ Fluker,
Unless
but
he's a top first 10 pick.
Yeah, you gotta have like a first rounder that can handle,
step in and be a mammoth of a man.
Exactly, and
we don't know how he's going to handle pressure.
You don't know about Watt, and if you don't know what's going on. But if
what?
But if he, obviously it's going to be a battle in training camp, and it just makes this training camp so much more exciting. I mean, there's so many things going on.
Well, just like last year, I think there is still a lot of questions to be answered at the offensive line. I mean, aside from DJ Fluker and Hardwick, everybody else is.
I think Dunlap's a lot, unless he goes way downhill. I think Dunlap's a lot.
I feel good about it. This is the first time in a few years we've had the same starting five. Retrospect right now, we don't know if Clary's going to be in there, but coming back. I mean, that's got to make you feel a little bit better.
I'm actually wondering if Reinhardt starts week 1. I'm not a huge. I wasn't really sold on him last year. I know he missed a lot of time with. I think he had a toe or a foot injury last year. I wasn't super impressed with Reinhardt. I was kind of happy they re-signed him just because you don't want to lose the depth.
He was a solid plug, though.
I'd be interested. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost his job. If you're going to talk about somebody just flat out losing their job, it wouldn't surprise me if he did.
And really quick, just to answer his question directly, Geppetto, I think Reinhardt's the immediate backup
for Fluker
for Clary.
Okay.
Or Watt, but again, don't be surprised if you see
Ornberger
coming in there, and maybe they give him the job. I mean, it's really your guess is as good as ours.
Right,
really.
Right.
To clarify, he actually clarified himself or corrected himself. He meant right tackle. If Fluker is injured, who is the depth at right tackle? Is it Harris? He has been playing
Michael
left
Harris.
tackle. Can he move over to right tackle? Where's the depth there?
That's a great point. That is a great point. That'd be interesting. I'll tell you what.
I feel comfortable all the way around. I think it's going to...
With no injuries.
Of course.
He's talking about if we
I understand that, but this is what's prepared us for this season. We've done this song and dance. What was the number one issue last year coming in the season? Offensive line, right? Are we agreed on that?
Right.
Last year coming into that season, all we talked about, how is our line going to play? Is Phillip going to get killed in Mike McCoy's first year? It turned out okay. It really did. So, I mean, I know the hypotheticals are out there, but just let it see if pan out here and see what happens. I think they're going to be just fine this year.
Yeah. The other thing that we definitely have a ton of depth at, and that's at linebacker. One of the things that Mikey brought up in his article, who will start at the two outside linebackers positions? I mean, we have a plethora to choose from Jerry Atauchu, God bless me, Dwight Freeney, Melvin Ingram, Jarrett Johnson, or Cordero Law. What do you guys think? Who's going to be on opening day? Who's going to be the starting linebackers on the outside?
You mean kickoff weekend?
Against the Cardinals,
yes, sir.
On Monday Night Football,
right?
While we're at Cali
Comfort,
doing a show,
Cali Comfort, 6 o'clock. Be there. It's going to be jamming,
some
beers,
great barbecue,
yes,
drinking
sir.
some beers.
That a boy. Plug it. Plug that shit.
Now, my thing is the starters are actually, I think, going to be Dwight Freeney and Jarrett Johnson. I think Melvin Ingram's going to be coming off the bench still in pass rush situations. Jerry Atauchu, of course, is going to not be starting, and Cordell Law, I don't think he's going to be starting either.
I think Mike thinks you're puffing on the reefer a little too much.
Okay.
Mikey's going to burst over
here.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Bathroom's down the hall, bro.
This is actually one of the questions I did answer in the article, and I mean, I've for a long time have been a proponent of Melvin Ingram and Jarrett Johnson. I just think Jarrett Johnson brings you some stability. I know he's going to be a solid player, so that's where I'm leaning to. But again, I could be completely wrong.
My two guys are Dwight Freeney, Melvin Ingram. But on your Melvin Ingram side, let's see him get through camp first without injury.
Right.
That's what I want to see. And Dwight Freeney as well. I think Atauchu is going to be great. I don't know if he is. We haven't seen him play. So we don't know. Cordero Law was one of the better Canadian players, I believe, right?
Yes.
So they got a hold on him. So they brought another pass. I think the pass rush can be improved. I see Dwight Freeney and Melvin Ingram manning those two spots, but yeah, you got to keep them healthy. So
all right, we have a question. Well, we have a couple. The chat room's been blowing up. I've been falling asleep on that.
What's wrong with you?
Let's give them some love.
Okay, yeah. First of all, let's go with the question here from the Return of the Bad, the Raider hater. I just like saying that.
Raider hater.
Yeah, so great, man. What can we expect from the new offensive coordinator? What can we expect? I know we talked about it a little bit last week.
Frank Reich.
Yeah, what are you guys expecting?
Yeah, last show we hit on it a little bit. I think he steps right in. I think me and Jason agreed on that last week. He steps right into the role. I think Ken Wisenhunt laid out the blueprint for this offense. They're obviously going to change some things up to make it Frank Reich's offense. But I think he's ready for this challenge. He's been in the league forever. Been with some good franchises, learned a lot of good stuff, and the rapport with Phillip. Phillip just goes on and on about how personable he is, gets along with him, and that's really what you want out of your quarterback, right?
You know, offensive. When we see who was responsible for the offense, you got McCoy, you have Frank Reich, and then of course. I just lost his name. My mind's going blank right now. The guy that just left, of course.
Wisenhunt.
Oh, yeah.
If you told me that one of them had to go, I would have chose Wisenhunt, to be honest with you. I think Reich is going to bring a lot more offensively to us, and I think that nobody gives Mike McCoy enough credit.
Yeah.
Offensively, they're looking at him as the head coach, and I think he had a lot to do with that.
Well, and I was talking to somebody about it, and granted, guys, we're not professionals by any means. We're fans just like you. My opinion is, if you look at the way that Denver's offense is structured and the way that they move the ball and, their small, quick outs, the Chargers did a lot of that last year. And I think McCoy is the one that brought that. Yes, McCoy worked with Wisenhunt, and they put a great game plan together. They both had their hands in the offensive playbook, and the same is going to be with Reich. McCoy and Reich are going to work together well. They're going to put a good playbook together. They're going to take some pieces from last year that maybe they steal from Wisenhunt a little bit.
Right.
What McCoy has brought, Reich might have some ideas they're going to put together. I think we're going to be perfectly fine, to be honest, on offense.
Yeah, you can't go wrong when your head coach was a former offensive coordinator for a great team. So that works in our favor as well.
That's funny you guys mentioned that because it's there's been a big love fest for Tom Telesco about
Tommy T, dog.
Yeah,
that's my boy.
Everybody loves Tommy T.
I call him on the cellular device every once in a while.
But you guys are right. I mean, McCoy needs to get some love here.
He does.
He's really turned this around. And,
I like his attitude. I mean, I don't get off topic here, but I just like the way he handles himself.
Right.
And it's a business-oriented football team.
Professional.
That's what we're here to do. We're here to win a football game. It's not Norv frickin' Turner, and it's like a circus, and people are doing their own damn thing. You know what I mean? Better feel of a football team. I love Mike McCoy.
Right. And then just a couple other things. Justin Wiltz.
Blowing up in here.
Yeah, he's blowing up here. Saying a couple of things. He said he agrees with us all that Justin Smead looks like Danny Woodhead.
I can't tell if you're Justin the profile or Danny Woodhead. Oh, hey, and Justin, we will be doing the show at FanFest. We're going to actually participate at the FanFest, watch the festivities inside the stadium, move ourselves back outside after the stadium, and do a live broadcast, probably an hour. Nothing crazy, but we want you guys to know that, and we'll definitely keep you informed of what section we'll be in. And
come on over.
Come over, man. Come over and hang out and have a beer or something, whatever. We'll just interact.
I think he's under 21.
Oh, you don't have a beer, and I didn't give it to you.
Have some milk.
I didn't give it to you.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know you weren't 21. You got to be 21.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. He's just such a young-faced guy on his Twitter.
Okay, you won't be drinking brews with me, bro. Don't even try it.
But, guys, you can go to our website, SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. On the homepage, we have our upcoming events. We're going to be at Cali Comfort for Monday Night Football. We're going to do a show starting at 6 o'clock. We'll run it right up to kickoff, and then we'll be eating some great barbecue and drinking some ice cold beers and cheering on the Chargers right alongside you guys. So we really hope that you guys can make an appearance at Cali Comfort, really make an impact there. And then obviously FanFest. As we get closer and we have more details where we're going to be setting up in the parking lot, we'll let you know. We'd like for you guys to come over, interact with us.
Right. And tonight, too, also, we have a couple shirts for guys. If you guys want to, I know you're participating already. The most questions and most interaction, we're just going to hand out a couple T-shirts to a couple of you guys. We'll have to DM you guys for address, and we'll just send them over to your...
We'll bring them to a Fan Fest.
We can bring them to Fan Fest, however you want to do it. If you don't want to give us your address, I wouldn't either. But, I mean, we're not creepos. But we will give you some shirts. They're the Padre opening day shirts with the Jerry Coleman star. Pretty cool. So just for participating, we're going to get a couple shirts out to you guys, all right?
Thank you.
So
we have another Twitter question as well that, coming from Geppetto. He's stuck on the offensive line.
Yeah, when Jeremy Clary was injured, we felt impact throwing Troutman in there at, POs.
At right. He threw him in at right guard.
Okay, sorry, I'm having trouble reading this phone here. But that he's more. He says that Jeremy Clary is more valuable than fans think, and I
agree.
You know what? I want to just touch on that really quick. Justin, thank you. He did confirm he's under 21. I know he's gotten a bad rap, and I know there was an article a while back in the local newspaper, and saying how he's been playing at a position, and he's kind of just like like the guy that you just put out there to stop the fire, and he'll do what you need. And I mean, like you said, losing him, I know people want to get rid of him, and people want to get rid of his salary and all that. And
but who do you get? Right?
I get that exactly, but you need depth. I mean, you saw last year, and it wasn't just last year. It's been a couple years now where we get hit on the offensive line, and we throw out these guys that you don't know, and these guys. These are offensive linemen. They're not star players in the NFL. I mean, you're not going to get a Michael Orr come in there as your backup, or you're getting some guy that no one knows. And so having this kind of guy, you need players that can just go ahead and step in, and you need depth. And he either will be a depth guy if Chris Watt plays well, Ornberger plays well, or he'll be a guy that can get you 80% of the plays or 70% of the time out there, and you can sub him out. So I think people need to lay off a little bit. I actually was looking on Twitter as we're doing the show, and people are blasting Jeremy Clary. And folks, don't get me wrong, folks. I just want to say that. I get it. I get that he's not as good as you think he should be. But really, what do you put there instead?
I think that's just a perception.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it might be a perception. He did have some down years where he I don't think a lot of people enjoyed Jeremy Clary. He had some penalties at key times that really pissed a lot of people off. But other than that, to be honest with most people, and I think as real Charger fans and core Charger fans would agree, he's been pretty solid. He hasn't been bad.
Remember, there's a salary cap in the NFL. You cannot have a Pro Bowler at every single position. No. You just can't do that. You have to have some
that way.
Role players. You have to have some guys that just are out there. And, Jeremy Clary can play all but the center position. He can play all of them.
And as we were all talking, you talk about payroll. We were all hoping that the Chargers could work something out and
That's
get him to
what we're
renegotiate his contract, lower that. And not only so we can have him for the depth, but free up some more money because we're right there underneath the cap. We don't have a lot of wiggle room to be adding players. So hopefully they can renegotiate his contract because we do need the depth.
We do.
I want to move on to more of Mikey's article, and we'll get to the cornerbacks. Who will start opposite of Brandon Flowers? And it's interesting because I was talking to a few people today, Justin included. We have Jason Verrett, obviously, Brandon Gee, Steve Williams, or Sharice Wright. Two of the people I talked to today, one was a Raider fan, but he lives in San Diego, so he follows the Chargers.
Was he able to say a coherent sentence?
He doesn't think Jason Verrett's going to be that guy. He actually thinks Sharice Wright is going to be that guy, and Jason Verrett is going to have to work his way into that position.
I don't disagree with that. I mean that's not unfathomable. Sharice Wright, I think we like what we saw, especially at the end of the year from him. And if he keeps growing, kind of like you expect like guys in high school and college to grow as players. If he grows, I mean, he could take over that spot. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people are, after the initial shock of getting Jason Verrett, Justin, we're not going to let him go. We're not going to let it go. But after, people are starting to grow on people.
Dog died or something.
Damn it. That's what it sounded like.
Why did we get him?
But no, I think a lot of people are just like, okay, yes, let's get Verrett. Let's get him in there. And again, I follow Twitter. I mean, I've been pretty much all day looking at it, and I see people like just excited about Verrett. But I mean, there's 3 guys, and I was talking to a friend. He's like, Brandon G might be the guy. He's like, he's like, I like him. I like him a lot. So.
What did we just talk about? Depth. I mean, that's what we want.
Notice Richard Marshall's not even being mentioned anymore.
No.
They re-signed him to a 1-year contract.
Right.
A lot of people are thinking he's one of the guys that might not even make the team now.
Well,
based on Mikey's article, I would assume so.
Well, the thing is,
I mean, he is Cavanese Part 2.
Well, the thing is, how did you don't plan for a Brandon Flowers signing? You
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
Nobody plans for this.
Exactly.
It just came about. He liked what the Chargers had to offer, and he's on a contract year. So it might mean a guy that maybe some people like and thought was pretty decent the second half of the year might be gone.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, we have all this depth at the cornerback position that last year we couldn't do anything with.
And really quick, Justin Wiltz here. Thanks, Justin, for joining the chat room. He says, does Flowers get the number 1 role right away? In my article, I say yes. I'm assuming that. Yeah. I'm assuming they've kind of told him, hey, you're coming 1 year. You're taking a cash cut, a little bit of a cut here. But you get to start.
Right.
So
somebody's got to be given the number 1 role. It might as well be him. You know,
he's got the most
him.
experience.
Yeah.
He's proven to be that guy, and obviously his attitude, goes along with the role. He thinks he's one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL, and
he's the man. He's the man. He's the man.
I think a lot of people are doubting him. So I think this is a good thing for him and for San Diego. I think Brandon Flowers is going to want to prove to Kansas City and the rest of the NFL that he is the man, quote unquote.
Right.
So I mean, I'm ecstatic. I'm really excited.
See,
to see him play.
I think it's Flowers 1, Sharice Wright 2, and like we talked about a few shows ago, Jason Verrett steps into that 3 slot, and he's the nickel back corner. You're going to see a lot of different packages with him. So it'd be Flowers for me and right at the 2 spot.
Yeah, maybe Steve Williams. Steve Williams, we talked about a little bit
we don't know
earlier.
what he's going to do.
Brandon
either,
Gee.
so.
It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
It's a great problem to have because they're all decent,
corners.
decent corners. That's for sure.
We're going to bring up one more topic, and then we're going to roll into a commercial break here. And what will Donald Brown's role be this year for the Bolts? Is he going to be the Ronnie Brown? Is he going to take some snaps away from Danny Woodhead? What's his role going to be?
This is one of the most underrated signings of the year for me, including the Brandon Flowers. This went under the radar. It's like, okay, we got Donald Brown. I don't think people were jumping for joy. I was excited. I know I was. You don't hear Donald Brown and immediately go Super Bowl. But adding to what you have, like we talked about, he adds another dimension. He's a north-south runner. He's a in between the tackles runner, I should say. But he can get you those yards, those tough yards, and he's a Ryan Matthews type. So now you just take a little bit more pressure off Matthews, keep him healthier. You run it by committee, and that's going to be great for the Chargers this season.
Yeah, just go with the hot hand.
Yes.
It is a little bit it was nice that when we had Ronnie Brown, just because he had a lot of different. He didn't do anything great anymore, but he did a lot of different things. He was a real good ball catcher. He was a really good blocker,
and he sealed the win in Cincinnati.
Yes,
so that's
a
big deal,
So we're losing a little bit from that, but
we are.
But we're gaining a lot more than we're losing.
And you added a little youth with Donald Brown. He's a younger guy, obviously.
Right, and I think Ronnie Brown split some third down reps with Woodhead.
Woodhead,
and I think Woodhead's going to take over more of a third down role now.
That would be great. I mean, that would add a whole nother element to the offense.
Absolutely. So we're going to roll into the break, guys. When we come back, we're going to be talking some Padres baseball. The trade deadline is July 31st, and they're already making some moves. We're going to break those down in just a few minutes.
I've been traveling for some time. With my fishing pole and my bottle of shine.
Are you looking for a bar for your next sporting event? Come to Cali Comfort Sports Bar in the heart of Spring Valley, where they are passionate about sticking to the true barbecue traditions. Using their unique low and slow method, you are guaranteed great barbecue no matter what you order. From pulled pork to tri-tip, football to MMA, Cali Comfort is your one-stop shop for all your sports and barbecue needs. Find them online, CaliComfortSD.com.
you need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
Take me out to the ball game. San Diego Padres broadcaster and Chicago native Mark Grant.
All right, let me hear ya, good and loud, all the way down to Joliet. Class of 81, Joliet Catholic is in the house tonight. Are you ready, Gary? A1, A2, A3, take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Orange root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame for it. Three strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hey, buddy, let's get some runs and check out the guy in the sombrero.
Dude, I love Mark Grant. That guy nailed it.
That was awesome, man.
That was, I mean,
I was laughing so hard and like proud at the same time. It was so cool.
buddy,
Guy in the sombrero. That's awesome, man.
That was clutch.
That was great.
One thing that the Padres haven't been recently is clutch.
Nice segue.
Wow.
Exactly.
Great.
They've been making some moves recently. Obviously, Chase Headley was traded off to the Yankees. Plus, we gave him $1 million for Yangervis Solarte.
I don't get the whole. I'm going to trade him to you and still pay part of his salary. That
Here's $1 million and our best player. There you go.
well,
I'm sorry. I didn't. Did I say that?
Yeah.
My bad.
Why?
Here's $1 million and a scrub we had laying around at third base.
no, I'm not saying
I know we give him Seth Smith.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I know, right?
One thing that Mike had said when he was talking about the trades that the Padres need to
Hey,
make,
Cisco's
he
in the
said
chat.
we need to get quantity and not quality, and it seems like that's what they're doing. I
Right.
think that they're getting a lot of different guys, and they're hoping maybe one or two of them can pan out. But just the whole, I'm going to trade him to you and pay part of his salary. I just, I don't get it.
Okay, and I can't remember who said this. I think it was at Ender of All on Twitter the other day. I think we were talking about the trade, and he said, this is what happens when you wait too long on guys. I mean, his value is at rock bottom.
Right.
I don't know how much worse it gets. We can't even unload him for a guy. We have to actually pay someone to take him off our hands.
Right.
Because who wants, like I said on Twitter, who wants to pay
$15 million.
Well, who wants to pay $4 million for a guy that's playing third base and batting .210?
Right.
And give us two prospects while you're at it.
What's
It's
the
like,
thing? If you don't give him now, you're not going to get a damn thing,
Right.
and then you got to pay him
No, I'm saying-
$15 million.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if I was the Yankees, I'd be like, all right, I'll take him off your hands and I'll give you these two prospects, but you got to give me something. I'm not going to pay
Right.
this guy $4 million
Right.
to be a bum on my team.
Right.
So at first, I didn't, it's just, his value's the lowest it can be. And so that's why you have to give up this money to
Got
get
to
him.
sweeten the pot a
Yeah,
little bit.
exactly.
So to kind of touch on that trade and some of the pieces, Solarte, who actually was playing a lot of second base for the Yankees, but he came up as a third baseman, kind of like a Jed Jerko situation.
Right.
He started off red hot at the beginning of the season, batting .303 to start the season with 6 home runs, 22 RBIs, then went on a 0 for 33 slump.
Which is very indicative of the Padres.
fit right in.
Yeah, he'll be good. 0 and 33, that's good.
So they sent him
Hit him
down.
third.
He came back.
Second, actually.
He came back, hit better than his 0 for 33 slump, but his average dropped to 254. Has 31 RBIs. We can only hope that he can regain his early season form. First game, actually, right now he's playing, and he's 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and an RBI, so and a walk.
Yeah.
So you can't. can't hope for anything more than that.
I don't know why you want to hit better. I mean, 254, that's pretty good for us. I mean, that's amazing.
That's damn good.
He stayed at 254. I'm happy.
Amazing.
But no, I read Dick Enberg, the all-knowing, said that if you put him on the Padres, he's automatically the player with the most RBIs.
Right.
So
Well, that's great.
That's amazing.
Wonderful. That's because the other guys on the Yankees can actually get on base, so he can
Right.
drive them in.
Right.
So, but the big catch is Rafael DePaula, right-handed pitcher. They're saying that he's the big catch of the deal. Many view him as a building block for future starting rotation. 6'2", 210, throws extremely hard. In 61 and 2/3 innings, he had a 1.46 ERA and a 12.49 K ratio.
If he's really that good, then let's trade him for a hitting prospect right now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Let's trade him for a hitter.
I don't care
he
about
can suck.
Yes.
DePaula or whoever. Who cares? If I'm just glad this Youngervis guy is in the lineup tonight. At least he's at the major league
tripled.
level.
We were watching. He tripled.
He
his first
opened the
at bat.
game at a triple. Drove in a run.
How sad is that we slot him right into the number 2 hole in our lineup just because we got nothing else,
Right.
So it was nice to see he tripled. He walked and scored another run. We're barely watching the game because we're doing the show right now.
It's update 5-3. It's the bottom of the 7th, 2 on, 2 out, and no, Luigi's not pitching anymore with that hat. It's Boyer.
Luigi.
He's trying to get the out here. So
Dude, Alex Torres in that hat kills
he
me,
needs
man.
to stop it. I mean, I know you're about safety, bro, but this ain't football.
Don't give him a hard time, man. Let him wear it. Who cares?
All right.
Really quick, guys. I like this trade. I mean, I really think this was like a best situation. I know.
Best case scenario.
Yeah, best case scenario. Josh, I know you didn't love the million. Was that you, right?
That was
Twitter?
me.
Oh, that was you?
That was me.
On Twitter?
Josh, I don't think liked it either.
No, I said the same thing.
Yeah.
The fact that we had to pay the Yankees $1 million to take Chase Headley off our hands.
You know what? The more you look at it and the more you look at what he's done, maybe we actually did great by only having to pay that million.
It's true.
Come on, guys, just give us $1 million, please. We're taking your third baseman here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
We're pleading with you. Give us
I
some
would have
money.
taken their third base coach.
Yeah.
and that's the tough thing is that, end of 2012, Chase Headley's at his ultimate peak, and you can only think that he's going to continue that role. There's no way the Padres want to trade him at that point.
No, exactly.
You know
if
what I
they
mean?
traded him, we would have been on here screaming about how we let go of every prospect that we ever had.
Oh.
This is Adrian Gonzalez.
Right.
This is Jake Peavy.
Well, okay.
This is,
Yeah, and that I mean, I know that's probably one of our questions later, but is this considered a fire sale to you guys? I don't define it as a fire sale yet.
Not yet.
No.
But I need some more transactions before I'm going to say fire sale.
What is your definition of a fire sale?
Fire sale is you're just dumping people because of their salary.
And getting nothing in return.
You're getting what
prospects.
you can, but
Right.
We've been through a fire sale. We all know what a fire sale looks like.
1993.
This is not a fire sale. They're not dumping it because they don't want to pay these guys. They're dumping it because what we're doing now is not working.
When does it get to that point, though? You just dumped your best reliever, and you just dumped. I know Headley's not been great this year. Your best third baseman. Okay, let's just put it that way.
Well,
Your
okay.
best third baseman.
I was our second best third baseman.
So was my aunt. Yeah, right.
So aside from Houston Street, who obviously was an all-starter that didn't play, we got rid of 2 guys. We picked up 6. So, I mean, odds are that at least 2 of those guys, for sure one of those guys is going to do something.
No, that's not. There's no odds for that. I disagree with that completely.
On which one?
Well, I mean, just as
Oh.
the total package of the 2 trades. Okay, for the Angels, for Houston Street, we got their number 1 and number 2 prospect
in their system.
system.
We actually got the 4 of their top 10 guys in their system, whatever that means. But 1 and 2 is a big deal because everybody has prospects rated in their system.
Do you remember just a year or 2 ago, everybody was saying the Padres have the best farm system or the best?
I
Do you remember that?
I heard that they had the best pitching in the minor leagues.
I remember they were talking about they have
not
the
hitting
best,
because they obviously don't have the hitting.
They don't
in
have
the minor leagues.
all that. None of that matters until they get up on the major league level and they start producing.
No, you're definitely right. I'm just saying when you get that kind of haul back and you have experts on whatever you're reading telling you that 3 of these guys are can't miss type players, isn't it? You got to take it for what it's worth because you don't know much about them, right?
I'm happy with the trades. Like Mike had said, I agree completely. We need to get quantity,
right?
And hopefully 1 or 2 of them pans out. Maybe they don't. What we have is not working. We got to do something different.
And at least it looks like the Padres have a plan, and their plan is to reload the farm system,
Right.
and build that depth from within.
Well, I thought we were doing that 3 years ago,
We
but I
thought so,
guess
too.
I guess that just didn't pan out.
Yeah.
And this is what it does: you recycle again and again. They went for a home run this year, which they thought would contend, and they didn't. Now the guys that you paid money for are going to be gone.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if Joaquin Benoit is out the door too. So
I have two things I want to mention. First of all, I like the Yankees trade way better than the Angels trade, only because I feel like you could have got Grant Green from the Angels, and he's the
he's
guy
a left fielder.
And he's like your equivalent to Solarte, a guy who's like right there. He's the guy you call up and bring back all the time.
We need outfield power,
well,
right?
We just need guys that are almost ready. Their prospects it's a bad farm system. They're not going to be ready next year.
But
maybe end of next year, maybe September call-ups.
But that's the gripe people have with this trade because they have 4 outfielders with power, with decent pop in their system, and the Padres didn't get one guy. And what do we lack at certain spots? A corner outfielder with power, do we not? Because Quinton's out there in a wheelchair. We know that. He's hobbling. So
Taylor Lindsey's one of the prospects we picked up.
You'll see him next week.
93rd in Baseball America. He's their number 1 prospect.
Yes.
He's batting .290 in AAA. Along with 8 home runs and 30 RBIs.
Right.
He did miss 3 weeks for concussion-like symptoms, but the guy can hit, and he's hitting in AAA.
He's hit at every level.
There's
so
a
let's
very
see what
good
happens.
opportunity for him to come up and move Jed Jerko when he does come back over to his natural position of third base.
He is the a-la of Jed Jerko. He is the same type dude. Came through the system, hit it every station, tore it up, and then he goes, okay, let's try the big leagues. It's been kind to Jed at times. It's been very unkind. So we'll see how this process works itself
and
out.
Actually, I just seen just in the chat room, just reminded me of another thing. So actually, I still have 2 more things.
How many things are you thinking
about?
about?
A lot. Okay. So firstly, let's not. Justin was mentioning that it's just Justin Wiltz in the chat room. We were talking on Twitter the other day, or maybe yesterday, and he was saying it's just amazing how this team even has a heart pulse. The Padres right now, because that pitching is just saving us. That's making us, from being the worst team in baseball. I mean, you guys, we've talked about the hitting, ad nauseum, and this pitching is just keeping us alive.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
If you put our entire pitching staff on the New York Yankees,
oh please,
you know what I'm saying though?
They would already have 70 wins.
That's what I'm saying.
Josh
we have that good of a pitching staff.
Josh made a great point last week. He said, if we just put our pitching staff on the second worst hitting team in all of baseball, we would be in first place.
Right, or vice versa.
Yeah.
If we had their offense with our pitching staff, we'd
crazy,
be right there in the mix.
It's crazy to think about.
And then the other thing I was going to say was, dang it, man, I'm forgetting. Oh, yes. Okay, so let's put it this way. This is my, after doing the article for the Padres last week or 2 weeks ago, the one thing I keep thinking is, if we spent $97 million this year, if we can spend another $97 million, let's clear a way to get to that $97 million and make better purchases.
Yes.
So
spend smarter.
Yeah. Don't go back and trade these guys and then come back and bring me a $70 million budget because I'm going to be pissed off.
Exactly. Spend the money still. Just spend it better.
Yes.
Spend it more wisely.
And here's my hope from your article. Mm-hmm. A lot of things I do agree with in your article is unloading the guys like Chase Headley, free up a lot of this money, but maintain our current pitching staff. If we can maintain our current pitching staff aside from Houston Street
and Kennedy.
And we can take I want Kennedy here, and we can take that money and put 2 bats in the lineup. I still think that some of the guys that we have that are slumping, like Jerko, for instance, can be a really good hitter. And if you can get 1 or 2 solid bats to throw in with what we currently have, along with some of these guys that we just traded for,
you know how relieving it is,
and our pitching staff, the Padres are not too far off from being a competitive baseball team.
You know how relieving it is to see Jeff Francoeur in the lineup tonight? You know what you're going to get with him, right? He's either going to strike out, hit a deep fly ball, or a home run. The guy, that's what he does. He brings power to your team, and he swings the bat, and he doesn't take cheap hacks. These are guys that I love, and if we just had guys like that from the beginning of the season that were unafraid to get the freaking bat off their shoulders.
The thing is, though, when we were coming into the beginning of the season, we were all excited because we didn't think every single player on the team would have a career low year.
We did not, and you're right about that.
So
now in hindsight, it just looks like
it was an easy choice. But if you remember, we were all excited about every position.
Right.
We knew that there was question marks injury wise, but we were pretty excited. We said these guys are all going to have, if they just have solid years, we're going to have a really good team. Right. Unfortunately, they all shit the bed at the same time.
Right. And I remember Darren last week, or he brought up how we have to overpay these guys. I mean, we can clear up a lot. I mean, like I said, about $40 million. Even if you overpay 3 guys to come over here, we'll still have $20 million left over in reserves.
Right.
I mean, I went back and I did the math this last week, and I was like, holy shit, we'll still have $20 million, and we can dump Carlos Quinton.
Yeah.
And still have
Dump
some
him
more money.
somewhere. I'll take him to the airport.
Well, not only that is with the contract we got with Fox Sports San Diego, our payroll gets bumped up a little bit each year. So they're adding money to our payroll with that TV deal. They're adding money to our payroll each and every year. So I don't like to look too far in the future, but 2 to 3 years, I think the Padres are going to be in contention.
But I mean, if you could get 3 guys, even if they're older guys, you can still compete every year. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, if you bring that Melky Cabrera, Pablo Sandoval guys I mentioned last time, Rajai Davis, you're spending $20 million on 3 guys, and those guys are going to help you play. Then you can put them, put Cabrera batting 4th or whatever. You can still be competitive while you build your farm system, trading away guys that you don't really want anymore.
Don't give up 5 years to build your farm system. You got to stay competitive still spend the money. You're right. If their payroll drops to $70 million next year, I'm going to be pissed.
I'm gonna stop buying
Justin
tickets.
in the chat room comments, Bud Black is their friend, not a manager.
Oh,
wow.
okay. Oh,
well, hey,
strong words.
you
I
always
like
need a
those.
friend to lean on when you're struggling, right? I got a friend in you.
His shoulder must be hurting like crazy. He's got
awesome.
tendinitis.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Bud Black because I think
he's the scapegoat, man.
I think he is a good coach, and I just think he's given a shitty hand.
I agree.
And
I think he's a good manager.
Unfortunately, we could see him, be eliminated from the Padres system, and I don't think it's fair. I think he deserves a chance to be on a team with some quality pieces, and I really think that he can, do some good for an organization. I hope we keep him around because I think that, granted, he's been in here 7 years. Oh, well, for 7 years, we've sucked.
Right.
For 7 years, we have had shit to play for.
Shit to talk about. We talk about it, but nothing to root for.
Get him some damn players and then see what he can do. And then if he still does nothing, okay, then shit.
Do you guys know how much I love playoff baseball? Do you guys? I love it a lot.
What's that?
I know. But when I watch it, I go, man, it'd be cool if the Padres are playing.
Wouldn't it be?
7 flipping years, dude. Yeah. I want to be dead soon. I can't take any more of this crap.
Right.
All right, guys, let's keep the ball rolling. Cam Maben suspended 25 games for amphetamines.
Oh, dude, it just gets better and better. This song and
the
dance.
The funny thing is I've kind of been his defender of the 4 of us.
Way to go, defending
I've
a druggie.
defended him all year. He's still hitting 247, which is like 5th best on the team. It's not like he's not having a great year, but he's not having as bad of a year as the other guys. But I mean, we keep missing him. We lose him from all these injuries. We lost him at the beginning from the injury, and now this. I don't know what his stupid excuse. I changed medicines or whatever. I'm tired of hearing excuses when these guys fail drug tests. I'm tired of hearing excuses.
Yeah, I am too.
You do every once in a while get the guys that just said, you know what, I made a mistake. I'm going to serve my time. I don't care why it happened. Get up there and say, you know what, I fucked up.
Yeah,
I'm going to serve my time. I'm going to come back.
He will, and he'll do all that crap, and that's how
they
always
tried to say though that he already tried to make excuses, and I just don't like that.
We had a comment in the chat room. It's pretty funny. Cisco, thanks for joining, Cisco. We miss you at work, man. I hope you're doing good. He says Telesco needs to take over the Padres. So that'd be fun, right? Tommy T? Tommy T and the Padres.
Think he can handle two teams at once?
I know he wouldn't hire Kim Ming as a GM.
Because he would be the GM.
Exactly. He would be. Yeah. That's why I said it. That's duh. Come on, dude. Let's go on here.
So Justin and I were talking, and I can't wait for you guys to hear Justin's side of it, and I actually think Jason's going to have an input on this as well. Do you think the Padres have hit rock bottom?
Jason.
Yes.
Well, they certainly. I always have an optimistic look. I always think, you know what, if we can just win, 10 in a row, we can
get back into it. Yeah,
I think that to define and figure out where rock bottom is, we might have to wait till the season's over and look back. And is that what we're going to say when Cam Maben tested positive, or
no,
when
Just
they
the
when they
culmination
sent
of the
two
events that
All
have
Stars
happened
and
this
nobody
year.
made it into the game,
No,
or when the opening pitch was thrown in the season.
No, when you trade Chase
Yeah.
Headley and gets the game-winning hit for the Yankees. When you
Yeah.
these
You know,
kinds of things happen to the Padres.
You know what was so funny about that was his first at bat for the Yankees. He K'd, and I was like, get used to that, guys. And then
Right.
he gets,
I
then
tweeted
went-
all you guys. I was laughing.
Then
I'm
I went
like,
to bed and
suckers.
Yankee fans at
Yeah.
Yankees. Enjoy this
Suckers.
bullshit.
And then I find out that he got the game-winning hit. I'm like, oh, brother.
Right?
Whatever.
I don't know. I don't want to call it rock bottom.
Okay, I'll do
Rock-
it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Rock bottom is the key here. That's what has happened this year. They are the kids that are jumping off the cliff into the lake, and they're jumping too close to the rocks.
Right.
And they've hit their head, and they're rock bottom.
So we're there?
Dunskies.
We're at rock bottom
Dude,
right now?
Done. Done.
We are not at rock bottom. It can get worse.
What are you
And-
talking
okay,
about?
but again,
How much worse can it get?
Really?
We're the worst hitting team in baseball history almost. We can't win a game to save our
They
lives.
can start dumping. They can
Our
start
pitchers
dumping.
give up 2 runs. It's the end of the world.
They can start a fire sale.
They
That was
can.
rock bottom.
They should.
I think they can get rock bottom in that we can just have no hope for the future, and it's very slim. I know you laugh, but again,
Yeah.
it's a very simple solution. I think.
Well,
I think the solution is simple.
Now, am I still interested? Yes, I
Yeah.
want to see young Veris kid play. I want to see more of these guys' names I can't pronounce.
I want to see Seth Smith
See,
hit a
you can't
3-run
even
home run
pronounce
right
their
now.
names either. Yeah, it'd be nice. He's up.
But
You have a lot of young guys you root for. You know.
Justin Wilson in the chat room adding on that they can't swim either. So
Not only do they have the hat,
Hey,
hit rock bottom.
hey, there's a run.
There's a hit by Seth Smith.
Yeah, the golf clap, boys. Golf clap.
All right, guys. With the trade of Street and Headley, also the grumblings that Dino, Benoit, Kennedy are next to be dealt, are the San Diego Padres on the verge of that potential fire sale? Do you think it's going to happen, or do you think the move's done being made before the 31st?
I don't think the moves are done, but I
No.
still don't want to
Dino
call
will
it a
be
fire
next.
sale. I don't have a problem with them trading Denorfia, to be honest with you.
I do.
Denorfia,
He's our best player.
I thought we just traded our best player to the Yankees.
Well,
You got
we-
a lot of
we
best
did.
players.
Yeah. We have a lot of best players in the Padres.
Denorfia is a good 4th or 5th outfielder on any other team. As much as we like him, I don't think he has the same value as we give him.
He's at the plate with 2 on.
We need
No
we need
outs.
to get we need to get Denorfia when we actually have 3 good outfielders, and we don't have that right now. I don't know what value he's actually going to have, but if we can get something for him, I say get it.
I agree with you.
I say get it. You can find 4th and 5th outfielders.
Yeah,
you can.
rumblings are Joaquin Benoit is pissed off and he wants out. So,
Yeah.
I mean, those are rumors out
Well,
of
I
Padreville.
don't blame him.
and
We don't score any runs.
I wouldn't either. He
Yeah.
should be on a contending team. That's
Yeah.
how good he is.
a couple things on that one. On the Benoit thing, that's why we should have kept Street. Street would have been happy to stay here.
No, he wouldn't have. He was getting
Yeah, no, he
pissed
would've-
off, too.
He was at first until he started being called in all those trade rumors.
Safe.
He was fine.
Right.
He was fine staying here. I know we have Kennedy here, and I know you guys don't want to trade Kennedy, but
No, not at all.
Okay.
I don't
None
have
of
a- I
my
don't have a
front line
problem.
guys.
but you,
I don't have a problem
you
moving
have
him.
to give
Right.
up
You
a
have a
good
problem.
piece. You have to
Yeah.
give up a good piece, and we didn't get
Nobody's
enough.
going to give you good for nothing.
Yeah, and you have to give up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't know if you guys played like manager mode on Madden or whatever. You have to
I
like
do.
trade away your star players so you can accumulate cap room and get other guys to
Dude,
come
you
here.
are the
Yeah.
prototypical GM.
Yes.
You are.
I
I
don't
turn
know.
the trade thing off,
Uh-huh.
and I just make trades, and they have to agree with you.
Yes.
So I'm
I
like,
trade Seth Smith for Albert Pujols.
yeah, dude, I'm like done. My whole team is
No
stacked.
wonder why you guys come up with these oddball trades.
Yeah, I've learned from the best.
I mean, you have to just take Kennedy. He's a valuable piece to other people, and if you want talented, almost ready major leaguers, you got to do it.
Guys, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to break down the AFC West. You know, we're going to talk not just about the Chargers, but we're going to talk about the Broncos, the Raiders, the Chiefs. The Chiefs.
Oh, the
And we're going to break down some of your questions as well.
Faders. Are we?
Street in the ring for a street sweeper, baby. Got ready to let it go. Shimmy, shimmy, come up. Listen to it loud. Light it up and take a puff. That's the green line. You can find me in St. Louis rolling on dubs, smoking on dubs in clubs, blowing up like bubble buzz, sipping bub, getting perved and getting pub, daps and hugs, mean mugs.
You need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects. SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
What's up, you sports freaks of the West Coast? This is your fantasy corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. I'm your host, Steve-O, and I want to challenge you to win your fantasy football season this year. So tune in weekly, starting in August, for some preseason sleepers, draft day steals and busts, some new draft value on the usual suspects, and my personal mock draft strategy that's going to carry you through your season and leave your buddies crying in that draft room. So please, don't miss your chance to tune in weekly and add some of your fantasy football smack talk to your corner of San Diego Sports Junkies.com/fantasy. Get some.
You can't get me down. There's nothing like a clear peace of mind to overcome the hardships in life. Just sort out the wrong from the right. Someone's in line, but they can't get me down. How about them Chargers? And now go Chargers, go.
How about them Chargers? San Diego on a roll. How about them Chargers? Know they took you Super Bowl. How about them?
All right, guys, we are back. We're going to break down the AFC West. Last year, obviously, the Chargers made the playoffs. The Chiefs arguably handed us the playoffs. They kind of choked down the stretch.
Yes.
And so did some other teams in other
we won that
divisions.
game.
I won't get into it. Maybe the Chiefs fan will to my right.
I remember. I remember.
Wow.
Today's
I'm just going to go buy a jersey. F you guys.
I remember a couple years ago when Phillip Rivers fumbled a snap when we were trying to run out the clock that lost. I mean, that happens to all teams. So let's not put too much into that. We still made the playoffs, and we should have beat those Broncos in that game too.
Yep.
So what were the standings like last year, Mike?
Okay, so last year, Denver won the division, obviously, at 13-3. The Chiefs surprisingly came in at 11-5. We finished 9-7, and the Faders came in at 4-12.
So it's safe to say that besides the Chiefs and the Chargers, that I can see a flip-flop there, and maybe we have 10-11 wins, and the Faders probably still at 4, maybe less.
Yeah.
That's a pretty safe bet.
I think they're around 5 this year.
5 wins?
I think so.
They got Schaub now, man.
Dude, they got James flipping Jones.
Matt Schaub's not going to make it past week 3.
They got the Jones connection. James Jones, Maurice Jones, Drew. Come on, man. Justin Tuck. They're loaded.
Daddy Mac.
Dude, all those guys are in senior homes. Oh, man.
So can Peyton Manning continue to defy age and continue his elite status, or does he falter this season?
I think he's going to keep doing it. I mean, I respect him. I know you're shaking your head, Jason, but you know what? He's not really – his game isn't a physical game. It's a mental game. He's just so well prepared every game. He knows what to expect. He's his mind – as long as his mind stays sharp, he's not going to have the same power when he throws, but I mean, he's got a year or two more left, but eventually it will fade. But I think next year he's going to look just as good.
You know who I'm rooting for?
What's up?
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack?
I'm rooting for him to annihilate Peyton Manning. I don't know if we have anybody on our roster, per se, that could do that.
What do you mean?
That could be up for argument, but I really hope Khalil Mack could take him out.
Butler?
I
Dwight Freeney? Kendall Reyes?
Melvin Ingram.
Jason Verrett off the blind side? Come on, man.
Well, Peyton Manning, he's got happy feet.
I don't see Peyton Manning, of course, is going to be he's an elite quarterback. He's still going to have a very good year. I actually see him coming a little bit back down a little bit this year. I think that as everything else, defenses start to figure out offenses a little bit. As from game 1 to game 2, the Chargers played completely different games, and then even in game 3, the playoff game,
right?
We kind of showed other teams how to play against him. And now Seattle is going to be a bad example because they played really good defense against everybody. But they made them look silly.
Right.
They made the Broncos offense look silly.
Yeah, they gave the formula. They really did. You're right.
They lost Decker, who I think was even though Decker had games where he he didn't really have any stats, and then he'd have a big game here and there.
Man, wasn't that the ultimate money move for Decker?
Absolutely.
Go to the Jets? Give me a break. I don't want to win a title.
Exactly.
Goodness. I'll just take the payday and I'll be good the rest of my life.
Got to pay for his wife's, stuff.
They lost
Right.
Sean
TV
Marino.
show.
They lost Decker. They lost a couple cogs in that offense.
They did. They won't be the same team. You're
no,
right.
they're not going to be the same team. They're still going to be good. They're still have
very
a good
good.
offense,
Of course.
but I don't think they're going to have the same statistical years they had.
I just
last
wanted
year.
to get your attention real quick and just say Justin agrees with me in the chat room. So,
Oh well,
he
sorry,
wow.
Justin.
has a question also, but that's not important right
so
now.
he agrees
just
with
agreed.
you, huh?
He wants to know when you guys can go out and have a beer together.
Yeah.
When he's 21. First one's on me, bud.
A Budweiser?
We'll stick with the Broncos here. With the addition of Aqib Talib, DeMarcus Ware, and company, can they gel enough and get the Broncos to that next step, which is a.k.a. winning the Super Bowl?
No, move on. Anybody next?
That's the
I don't
thing.
think Ware is going to be as big of an impact
No,
player as people think on that defense. I think Talib
will help him.
I think Talib is a very good cornerback. I wish we could have got him, but I think they're going to take a step back, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers won this division next year.
I agree with you. I think Peyton's still going to be Peyton Manning, but the problem with overpaying for guys like DeMarcus Ware, Akeem Talib, man, wasn't that the ultimate panic button? I mean, they're like, oh, my God, we just got blown out. Let's go get all the guys we can.
Yep.
Release Sean Phillips, and it's like –
I'm sorry, who?
Yeah, my Range Rover got stolen.
He had a solid year for them last year, though.
Right. Hey, he had a good year, but by releasing solid guys, you're going to get better. I didn't understand the move. For me, I don't know if he got picked up again by them. Did he? I'm not sure. We'll have to look that up. But yeah,
I don't think anybody picked him up yet.
Akeem Talib to me is a solid cornerback. Do I think he's a shutdown corner? I don't know. I guess that's for debate.
I think he is.
Do you think so?
I think
okay.
he is.
I think he's a solid stud
Yeah.
cornerback. I think he's more than average.
Really quick, Sean Phillips is on the Titans. He went with Winston Hunt. I remember that.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he can
Good
get
luck.
his car stolen there. So. Right on.
Personally, I wonder if too many star, quote unquote, star athletes on one side of the ball, could you see them butting heads? Could you think that would actually implode their defense?
Defense is a little bit different. Offense, I think that has some. You can see problems with that offensively because people want the ball. Defense, though, you got to make plays happen. It's a little bit different. They don't. How do you complain they're not getting me the ball on defense?
Right.
Now, whether or not they start to try and be look out for their personal stats instead of team stats, who knows? Defensive linemen need to. Sometimes they need to do things that don't necessarily get them stats. They need to do things to control the run game. They need to do things to allow other people to do that. And if not everybody's willing to do that, then
You have to be on the same
exposed.
page.
And Justin Wiltz here in the chat room wanted to add on and say, good job, Broncos. Sign older players that can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to bring up here. DeMarcus Ware, he's a great athlete. We're not knocking him. He's had a heck of a career. Do we think his career is over? No. Maybe he's a shot in the dark like Dwight Freeney is for us this year.
Right.
We hope Dwight Freeney can return to year 6 of his career. That would be phenomenal, right? So,
Well, and it's kind of like what we're talking about with the Raiders. The Raiders added a bunch of, quote unquote veterans. And does their lack of youth infusion hurt the Raiders as an organization? I mean, aside from the quarterback, does it hurt the Raiders that they don't have enough youth?
Let me just clarify, when you say veterans, it's the Raiders, so it's veteranos.
What you talking about,
I think the Raiders added a bunch of veteran guys because they had to. You remember, there's not only a salary cap, but there's a salary floor. They had to spend money, and
because
nobody wanted to go there, so they just.
I guess they had the most money in ever, and for an NFL team to
and
spend.
you have to spend it, so
Right.
they had to do something.
They got Lamar Woodley too, I think.
Did they?
Yeah, old
Yeah.
guy. Remember Lamar Woodley from the Steelers?
They got a lot of old guys. It'll be interesting. They're going to be an interesting team because if all these old guys can stay healthy and gel,
to mix in with the younger guys.
they'll be a decent team. If the problem is all of that playing together. It's sometimes you get a bunch of players. Remember the Eagles a few years ago?
Right.
They got all these great guys and they thought they're going to be great and they sucked ass.
The problem is they signed Matt Schaub.
Yeah,
and he's just not equipped
He's a
for
turnover machine. Dog.
He's not equipped for a passing league, So
that was my next question: can Matt Schaub resurrect his career in Oakland?
No.
No.
Nobody can resurrect their career in Oakland.
Yeah, when he's trying to go to
He beat me
Oakland,
to that
Florida.
joke. Oh, God, he beat me to that joke.
Dude, that was great. I mean, yeah, well, that's where you go to die.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So
Yeah. Ask Randy Moss how Oakland was. Yeah.
there you go. Ask a lot of people how Oakland was.
Tim Brown.
Tim Brown. Remember Tim Couch even went there, I think,
Oh,
for a
did
little
he?
while. Yeah.
I'm looking at some of the names they signed. Maurice Jones-Drew.
You should just go through their freaking
Justin
last
Tuck.
10 years
Yeah,
of quarterbacks. It's
Justin
hilarious.
Tuck, Lamar Woodley. Jeez, man. Who else is
Wessel?
Carlos Rogers. You know, I mean,
Just a bunch of guys that are past their prime,
it
that
kinda
are old, that are looking to get that last payday before they get out of the league.
It kind of sounds like the Padres. The Padres seem to pick up the big
You know what?
names in like the last year or two
That's
of their
actually
career.
a pretty decent comparison. You know, the Padres do. You know, I always tease. You know, I look forward to the Padres signing Alex Rodriguez in about 8 years.
Right?
You know,
Exactly.
They
I always
do
wish
seem
we
to-
could have had King Griffey Jr.
You know, they do see. You know, they're always out there on the waiver wire seeing if Woody Williams is available to pitch. You know, that's actually a good comparison. I never really thought about that before, but the Padres do that.
Geppetto, he wants to add his 2 cents to the conversation.
please do.
Well, add more than that. We need the money.
Big money players don't always equals championships. Check the Eagles and
Oh, that's a good one.
What do you say? Smelladors?
That's totally right about the Eagles. I mean, we saw that. We
They
saw
called
how
themselves the Dream Team.
Vince Young called them the Dream Team.
Yeah.
How's that working out for him?
Yeah.
But no, that was a smart call. That was a good call.
I'd like to shout a couple people out just who have been following the show tonight. Twitter shout outs. At SD_Bolts21. At SD_Bolts21. Following the show tonight, we appreciate his contributions. Says he says, "Fuck the Raiders and the Queefs and the Donkeys. They're fucking punk ass fans."
Yeah.
I love your straight upness, dog.
Yeah.
That was fun, and thank you for participating tonight. And also a shout out to Big Brian 619
Always.
at Big Brian 619, always there for us, tweeting us out, giving us love. Like we said, we're going to be at Cali Comfort September 8th, 6 o'clock pregame.
Come on out
Monday
there.
Night Football. Arizona Cardinals should be big. Food, beers, lots of fun. Hang with the junkies. So
Do we have time for one more question from the,
we
the
have
chat room?
all the time
Yeah,
in the world.
absolutely.
That's what
Mikey.
you guys
Absolutely.
think. That's what you guys think.
Come on, dude. What do
Stay
you
home.
got? We don't got curfews around here. We're old. Man, I'm 40.
This is from our buddy Justin Wiltz. Really quick, he wants to know, and I think I'm not sure if he missed the show earlier, but who has the bigger role at wide receiver, Floyd or Allen? Really quick, what do you guys think?
Allen.
Alan.
Floyd. Okay.
Whoa.
Bigger role.
Until he goes over the middle. I know.
It's too soon, too soon.
Yeah,
Sorry.
too soon.
Sorry.
He's on our team, man. What are you doing?
I know, but he's like the fragile. He's fragile Frank.
Oh, no, I gotta say this one because Cisco, he actually had a really good one. Padres looking to pick up the Bash brothers, Canseco and McGuire.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
like that one.
Would not surprise
Wouldn't
me.
surprise me
Hell
at all.
no.
Justin's been rallying for King
You know what
Griffey
I
Jr.
do?
for
Yeah,
like
I want-
They'd
months
hit.
now.
They'd hit 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, with King Griffey Jr.'s swing, he still probably has a sweet swing, and he hit 250 for us.
We'll take it.
We had a couple Twitter questions earlier on in the day from at the Return of Bad, a.k.a. the Raider Hater. Does Ryan Matthews stay a Charger after this season?
I'm gonna. If I had to predict, I would say no, but I'm hoping yes.
I say no.
If I was a betting man, no.
I say he's going to be with us next year.
Really?
I think he's going to have a big year this year. He's going to build off of what he did last year.
I
Stay
agree
healthy.
with both of those things.
And I think he's going to be our featured back for the next couple of years.
Yeah, Cisco in the chat room says Floyd has to prove himself. Obviously, just to stay healthy. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
You can't be getting hurt in week 2. It just does no good
Exactly.
for us.
Yeah.
But I think this year maybe they put him in positions not to get hurt.
And Justin
So-
Will says no to Ryan Matthews.
Right on.
Okay.
So Geppetto had to clarify again. He's cracking up from Twitter. Smell a Doyer equals L.A. Dodgers. Doyers.
Oh,
It's
Doyers.
like, man, I wish I could call in.
Man.
We're working on the phone
We are
line, buddy.
working on
We
it.
are working on that phone line. Hopefully in a couple weeks we'll have that going, and I would love for you to call in and talk
Doyers.
sports
That's
with us.
great. That is great.
Smell a Doyers.
I should have got that one. Damn
Smell
it.
a.
I found that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Another
A.
question from the Return of the Bad. Are Chargers players joining the softball league Phillip Rivers' idea or Telesco's?
Oh, well, I did the research and I couldn't figure that out. But I'm assuming it's the players
I think it was Rivers idea.
having the fun and doing the I thought the pictures were hilarious.
You know, it's funny. I saw that article today, and then about a week ago, a coworker of mine his girlfriend plays softball up there, and he was like, yeah, the Chargers were out there. Philip Rivers was wearing some big, long wig and stuff. And I thought he was bullshitting me. And then I read this article today. I'm like, oh, my God.
He was talking to you about
it was
being true.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that they lost.
Yeah.
They lost that day to the other team.
I think just Telesco being around lets the guys feel more comfortable.
Right. So he's more personable.
Yeah.
When AJ Smith was here, he would want to talk to nobody.
He would write in your contract that you can't play softball.
Yeah. He'd write a contract you couldn't breathe. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, I just think things like that just build that camaraderie between the team.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It
Absolutely.
builds that relationship where they can really gel and build that chemistry together.
Yeah, definitely. It's a more of a family-oriented type of group now. Feels good.
So, guys, I think we're going to wind it down here. Thank all of you for joining in the show in the chat room at Geppetto, GPETTOOH, for all your questions, interactions.
Yeah, thank you.
At Big Brian 619, as always, repping us, man. I hope we see you and everybody at Cali Comfort for Monday Night Football, watching some Bolts. We're going to do a little live show there. We're also going to be at Fan Fest. We're going to enjoy the whole Fan Fest atmosphere, and then we're going to meet up in the parking lot and do a live show. So hopefully you guys will interact with us there as well. We do this every Wednesday at 7, guys, so feel free to
tell your friends, tell your mom,
to join
tell your dad, tell your dog.
Give us the questions. This is a show for fans.
By the fans.
We are the San Diego Sports Junkies. You can check us out on SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. Guys, we thank you all. We are out.
Bye.
Take care.
Coming your way, we're gonna dazzle you with our play. The time has come. We're shooting for number one. With thunderbolts and lightning, we'll light up the sky. We'll give it all we've got and more with the supercharger drive.
Thank you for following the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. With Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, and Jason Eidsmo, we want you to subscribe to us on iTunes, follow us on Spreaker, and like us on Facebook. Also visit our website, SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. This is brought to you by SK Digital Imaging and SDForLife.net. San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans.